You're coming through a little garbled, but I can hear most everything you're saying.
I think that was just my mouth. I've got a radio commitment I have to do at the beginning, so I'm going to mute until I'm finished with that.
Okay.
And then I'll come back to you.
Absolutely wonderful. All right, so let's kick this thing off. It is 7 o'clock. Welcome again to another edition of the Virtual Support Academy. It is Tuesday evening. We're doing this through the end of the year. I have some new information I want to share with you that I learned through the session at TLI. But before we get to that, I want to try to advance. There's my screen. The shameless plug for the Pathways AAA Award. Early Adopter, Early Advisor, and Early Achiever. This is an ongoing award. If you have not seen a copy of the email on the right-hand side with your name on it instead of Kate's name, then please let me know. I've sent out several different varieties of this email, some through vertical response, and I know some people within the district have chosen to unsubscribe to the vertical response emails. I also sent out a whole raft of them over the weekend to the people who were at the TLI Pathways Unleashed session at Wilsonville High School and gave me their name. The Pathways AAA is an award that was dreamed up by Kate Arnold to generate interest in all things Pathways within District 7, and I am firmly on board with this. If you go through and do all three of these, the Early Adopter, Early Advisor, and Early Achiever, I will mail you your very own Be Extraordinary pin, much like the one on the screen. We have had 3 winners so far, and we will no doubt have more as soon as I get back in and take a look at the sheets and update everybody. So please share that around, let people know.
Well, I want to get vocal. I'm on my phone. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. So who is it Marvin? Are you on the phone?
No, this is Don Crawford.
Oh, Don. Okay, because I see you coming through with your name there, and then somebody else is on the phone as well. All right. Well, Don, have you seen the Pathways AAA Award announcement email coming through to you?
Yes, I have.
Okay, cool. Well, then you are definitely up on it.
I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. I just want to make sure that I bring it up and share it and get people interested so that we can get this, as we get more people that are interested in Pathways and sharing and spreading the word, then it's going to be even better for all of us. Now, I am switching my screen over to, if I can find the right screen to switch to. Hopefully this is the right one, and but I don't want Zoom. There we go, live shot. We are looking at Toastmasters International main web page. I have had a bunch of presentations that I have put together on how to find Pathways, and as of last Friday, they're all obsolete because Pathways has revised their front page in an effort to make things better, and they did. This is fantastic. I really like it. Now on the front page, we have a tab that says Pathways. Woohoo! Woo! We haven't had that yet. So I am really happy that this is here. And it's okay that all those hours and hours of work about trying to, create presentations, I'm willing to let it go because this is a change that I like. Right here on the front page says Pathways. So if you want to get to Pathways, you click on that one, brings down your drop-down options. You can learn more, access my path through Basecamp, take the assessment, go to Basecamp, and choose a path. Now, I am clicking on the Access My Path through Basecamp because I'm going to check something. And it takes us to the Pathways learning experience. Then I am backing up, and I'm going to click on Go to Basecamp. Okay, for me, it takes me to the exact same place. My theory, and I haven't tested this one, is that if you are a member of one club and one club only, then the button that says go to Basecamp will skip this Pathways learning experience and take you directly into your Basecamp. It's probably bringing me here because I am a member of 3 clubs as well as a Pathways guide, and it wants me to have the option of switching the club affiliation. Now, I have not confirmed this, so it is potentially erroneous information that I'm giving you, but I am hoping that that is exactly what they will do. Now I am changing my club selection to New Horizons, where I do most of my Pathways stuff because a large number of those members are on Pathways, and I am logging in as a member. They did change the button layout of that previous page a little bit. They moved 2 of them back and forth and then switched them. So I'm not talking about that because it's just they switch buttons around. It looks pretty much the same. They've streamlined it, cleaned it up, removed some messy text, and I like that because it's cleaner. We are now into Basecamp. Basecamp regular and Basecamp fun. And I'm getting some feedback from some, okay. Well, that's perfect. Here, they have not changed anything on the interactive. All of the 5 buttons are the same. The bottom area is the same, the top. So inside of Basecamp, I haven't seen any changes. Now, what I want to talk about is this new bit of information that I found out and verified through the session at TLI about being able to send evaluations to other members of your club within Pathways. Up till now, I was pretty much under the assumption that you had to download the evaluation, fill out the evaluation, and then email it to the member in order for them to get it. That I was not aware of a way to do that within Pathways. It appears that we can do that now under the My Feedback tab. And what I am doing is, well, first, I'm going to search for the member that I sent the feedback to. So I'm going to verify, and then we will step through it all. So for this demonstration, I'm saying that I did an evaluation for a member of my club, and her name is Gabrielle, and for some reason it didn't want to pick up on click. So I type her name into the search box, then I click on her name. So now I am looking at her profile, Gabrielle Proust. So this shows me her feedback in ePortfolio. I'm going to click on her feedback tab, and here you can see there is a post from me on the 3rd of December that has a PDF file attached to it that is a networking evaluation. This is an evaluation that I downloaded, filled out, and then attached to a post right here in her feedback. I asked her to go in, verify that she could see it. She could see it and open it. Now, she did send me a text saying that she transferred this evaluation directly to her ePortfolio. Correction, that she transferred it to her ePortfolio. I was unable to verify whether or not she had to download it first and re-upload it, or if she could transfer it directly over. That I will find out. But this step right here is different than what I've been telling people so far. This is how you can send an evaluation that you did for a speaker to them within Pathways, and not by email and not by snail mail and not by handing them to them, but actually inside of Pathways. If I click on that PDF, it opens it for me so that I can see the evaluation that I typed up for her, which is what I just did, clicked on it. Then I am going to look real quickly at her ePortfolio to see, okay, so it's not showing me, and this is my theory, is that I can't really see into somebody's ePortfolio because I don't have Basecamp Manager authorization. But I was just checking to see maybe if I had sent her, so I am checking for the title of that piece that I sent her. She said she put it in there. And okay, that seems to be holding pretty true that I cannot see documents in somebody else's ePortfolio. But she said that she was able to take this evaluation that I gave to her and move it into her ePortfolio. So this streamlines that process. Actually pretty well. I'll verify if she downloaded or if she could move it directly across. If she can move it directly across into her ePortfolio, then that's great, because you can send the evaluations directly to the members right here, and you can tack on information to them. So that is the tidbit that I learned on Saturday. Somebody pointed out to me. I've tested it, and it is almost partially confirmed. Well, almost totally confirmed. It is partially confirmed. So the back end of it is what has not been completely confirmed. So to review the steps on that, if you want to send an evaluation to somebody within Basecamp, go to the search box, start typing in that member's name, and in this case, I'm going to use Kaushik. I will click on Kaushik's profile. Then I will click on the feedback tab where it is blank. Here, I click in the feedback where I share your feedback, and I'm going to simply type, here is your evaluation. Then I will click on the paperclip icon to attach a file. Click the red button that says select a file, and then I can go directly in and grab a file. For this demonstration, I'll grab social media and open that one. So that right there, when I click the post button, it will post this directly to his personal feedback inside of Pathways that he has access to and that I can see because I shared it with him.
Before you click post, I see a drop-down menu that shows everyone. It looks like you can choose whether you want to share feedback.
Right there, whether it's just him,
yeah, do you want
the managers, or absolutely everyone. Now this is a whole area that I haven't been able to confirm because I don't have enough people within my club that are active in Basecamp to double check to see who can see what. But I know that the feedback will show up in some form for other people, but I haven't been able to totally confirm that one. My guess is that if I click on everyone, then anyone who searches for Kaushik's profile will be able to see my post.
Right.
I will click cancel because I'm not going to post that on his profile because I didn't actually evaluate a speech that he did because he's currently out of the country. So he may be a little confused about why an evaluation showed up for him.
I also noticed that the two people you've shown us their feedback for shows feedback only from you.
Yes.
Do you just happen to be the only person to have given them feedback, or is it that you can view only the feedback you gave, not the feedback that other people gave?
I suspect that it's the first, but I don't know about the second. So I don't know if other people are providing others feedback here. That's one of those where I need to get a group of my club members together and we can all sit around with laptops and send feedback to each other and then see what we can each see. We just haven't done that yet. So I cannot confirm whether or not they can see the other feedback on there. I know that under my own profile, I see all the feedback that people have posted for me, including the badges, including the requests for feedback. Actually, they're all requests that I placed. So far, there is only the badge that was posted by somebody who wasn't me requesting feedback. And that was posted by another member of my club some time ago, actually on the 1st of November. So then I have gone through to test out that method to post badges for other people because some people that have just done some fantastic stuff lately. And I am going to check to see if maybe they've seen those or if they've responded to them. So here you can see I gave Mary a badge. She hasn't responded to that one yet, which is perfectly fine. She may not have been in. It was just a couple days ago. And I will check one other here. Go to the feedback tab. Okay. So they may not have seen their badges yet. They may not have known that they have been badged in this way. But at some point, I am hoping that there is a system notification within Pathways that when somebody places either feedback for you or gives you a badge, that you receive some type of notification that that has happened. As of this time, I don't, that does not occur, to my knowledge. At least I haven't received any notifications of any of those. And as some of you know who were on the webinar, when I went into my badges and I saw the badge for the first time, I got really excited all live because I hadn't even seen it before. So that is the piece of information to share that is brand new for tonight. Now we are back to the front page of Basecamp Manager. Let's see. Are there any questions over what I've gone over? Anything to add to it, or random bits of Pathways trivia?
Well, I have one comment.
Go for it, Chris.
My club is building rapidly, and we just can't get a speech in for the AAA thing. I can't get one in by the end of the year. There's no.
Oh, well, good news. We have moved the deadline. Yes, the goalposts have been moved back about 3 months. So
oh, goody.
now we are to the end of February, because the important thing wasn't the deadline. The important piece is to get more people involved. And as we spread the word, we're shoving the deadline. It looks like the ultimate deadline will be the end of the year, because, you know, the end of the year kind of just is a nice deadline point for our Toastmasters. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have any other questions?
I'm only in one club. I logged onto the Toastmasters site and clicked on Pathways and clicked on Go to Basecamp, and it took me to the same page where it says Pathways Learning Experience.
Oh, okay. So both of those do that then. Well, that's interesting. So it's an update that they have done to their front page that apparently, under the Pathways tab, accessing my Basecamp through Pathways and Go to Basecamp are the same thing. So they take you to the same location for now. And this may be something that changes later. They may be building functionality into their website for later utilization. I'm not sure which. Okay, well, thank you for verifying that. I appreciate that. Now I know that I can give out the authentic as of this moment information, because it will change. I have no doubt whatsoever about that, because Pathways they are modifying their website and they are making things more streamlined and easier. Okay. All right. One of the other confusing points that we discussed in the TLI session, which I'd like to go over here, is the fact that the Pathways level completion is a two-step process. The first step being that the VPE needs to mark the path complete within Pathways, and the second step is that they need to go to Club Central to fully to give the credit to the individual where necessary. So I'm getting some feedback. I think, Chris, that might be your radio, so I'm just going to go ahead and mute you. So go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. Thank you. That'll just cut down in the background right there a little bit. Okay, now, the question we had on Saturday was, where is Club Central? And I can show you, because it is right here. If you go to the very first page with all the tabs, Pathways, Education, Membership, click on Leadership Central. That brings down the drop-down menu that has Club Central as the first item on the far left side. That is where an officer in a club can record educational awards as well as much more about a club. I am currently an officer in Feedbackers, so I have access to managing that club. Under Club Central, there's the club membership, club administration, and a whole lot of other boxes. The Submit Education Awards is the second step for level completion. Once the Basecamp manager has verified the level completion inside of Pathways so that the member can move on to the next level, they need to come into Club Central and process an educational award for that member the exact same way that they do with a legacy program. the program with the competent communicator, competent leader. So they have to go through this process for legacy. Simply for pathways, it adds another layer to it. Maybe in the future, my guess is when everything goes completely pathways and pathways only, that there may not be a double two-step in here. That by verifying it within pathways, it may generate a system-wide notification that you have received your award. As of this time, there is this need to do that two-step process, and several people have received either a level completion and not an award completion, or they received an award completion and not the level completion, which happened to me with a VPE in one of my clubs who was very familiar with the legacy system. So she was able to go in and process the award there, but wasn't familiar with pathways, so that I had my level completion through Toastmasters before I could move on to my next level, which was, it was different. I've kind of experienced it both ways now. So this is where you find Club Central under the Leadership Central tab on the main page. Excellent. So now we shall return to Basecamp, the home away from home for so many Toastmasters members now, because most of the rest of all of that information is important to officers. But here, this is completely individually focused Basecamp material. And I'm really enjoying it myself. Okay, let's see. What else did I want to hit on? There was one other. Yes. Speech evaluations. Now, within Pathways on the website, and as people who work with computers know pretty much, there's more than one way to do something in most programs. And in Pathways, there is more than one way to find speech evaluations. The easiest way is to click on the button that says Speech Evaluations, and then scroll down and find the project that you are doing an evaluation for or getting an evaluation of. Now, this process, if you want to download and print out an evaluation for, let's say a project that you're working on that you're going to do a speech for, this is quicker than launching the curriculum, getting the pop-up window, tabbing through to the page that says My Evaluation and downloading it there. It is much quicker to come into this page, find the project that you need, download it, and print it out. It is exactly the same evaluation form, but this does save you several clicks. Another method for finding evaluations is under the Tutorials and Resources tab, where you click the Tutorials and Resources. This is the full breadth and width of information and training that Pathways has to offer. Under Subject, you click on Evaluation Resources, filter for English, and then scroll down to find your project, much as you would under the Speech Evaluation tab. The biggest difference between the two is that by using the Speech Evaluation tab, it's one click and you're into the list. You come into Tutorials and Resources, there's a couple clicks to filter the list. They look different because under the Speech tab, you just have the name of the project. Here under Tutorials and Resources, you have a picture of an evaluation form. The reason why there's a picture here, at least in my thinking, is that there are all sorts of other materials available within Tutorials and Resources. So this way they're able to visually inform you that you are looking at an evaluation form, as opposed to if you clicked on the project description, you see the cover of that looks like a manual. So they have changed the image that goes with each of these documents so that you're simply not looking for a name, because sometimes, well, often, the name of the project and the name of the evaluation are exactly the same. So you may end up downloading a project when you need the evaluation and vice versa. Whereas under the Speech Evaluation tab, because it is strictly evaluations and only evaluations, all you have are evaluations. So you won't be able to download any project information from this tab. So now there are 3 ways to get an evaluation within Pathways that I know of. The Speech Evaluation tab from the main page, the tutorials and resources tab, filtering for evaluations, and in your own curriculum, you can download your evaluation. So now you have 3 different ways of finding things. It's one simple thing. You can find it in so many different ways. You can impress your friends with everything that you know about Pathways with that one simple parlor trick. You'd be amazed at how many free drinks you will receive. I promise you.
Boy.
Now, granted, it may be water, but that's okay. It's still going to be a free drink. Absolutely. Excellent. Back to the home page briefly, and I'm looking over my notes from TLI because we had a fantastic session. If you were there, over 2 different hours on Saturday. I had over 75 people put their name on my clipboard for information about the AAA award and a few other things. That means there were people that didn't put their name down. I think we had probably 15 to 20 people sign up for their initial very first path and get started. So all of them are on board, as well as we just blasted through a bunch of questions and answers about various confusing bits within Pathways interactive website here. So as I review that list, if there are any questions, please unmute yourself or ask or send a chat. I am more than willing to answer almost anything that I know inside of Pathways. And if I don't know it, I'll make up an answer and then let you know later on it was wrong or correct, as I surmised. Yes.
So James, Chris here.
Yes.
I'm a dyslexic, so of course this thing is giving me nightmares, right? I've even got the t-shirt on tonight. Evaluation 360. Can you, if I go navigating Basecamp or something, up comes this thing, navigating 360. Can you get to that for us? And I can ask a question.
Did you find that inside of speech evaluations?
I think it was navigating Basecamp it came up for me.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll click on the navigating Basecamp. And
okay. Working on projects.
Work in my projects. Oh, I don't see anything 360, but I can put it in the search bar. Let me try that. Navigating 360 is what it's called.
Well, maybe it'll come up on evaluations. I think it did when you did it.
And navigating 360 gave me nothing.
Sorry, evaluating 360.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would help if I got the right entered. There it is, 360 evaluation resource. We'll stick with the English one because I don't do French or Chinese very well. Okay.
You haven't got Gaelic either.
So I found it. So what's your question?
What is it? I mean, is it something I'm supposed to work through? Because the thing I was at, you could check it off as done.
Right.
I have seen reference to it in a few of the project evaluation forms. Each form gives the evaluator a description of the project and what the person was supposed to do. And a few of them say that the person got this 360 evaluation, like before giving the speech, as part of doing the project.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the evaluation right now, and it is a 6-page document. Let me just do a desktop share so you can see that as well. It is a 6-page document that focuses on leadership styles, prioritization. This looks like probably from a project that is later on within Pathways. I would imagine maybe even a level 5. Scott, if you're still around, do you recognize the 360-degree evaluation form?
Well, I haven't used it, but I would imagine it's going to be part of an elective.
Mm-hmm.
A little farther on.
Yeah, that's my guess too, is there's probably a project that is 360,
right.
Something or other. Let's see, what do we get?
Yeah, there are several projects.
It's coming up for me before I've started doing anything.
Yes,
Hmm.
it is very possible. As you can see, we're looking at my educational transcript right here, and you can see all of these things that I have here. Every single time that you click on an evaluation resource or a tutorial or anything to get any information, it will come up as a curriculum that you can open and look at and move through and all of that stuff. So it will show up often. Now see, as you can see here, mine, just because I looked at it, it says mark complete. So if I click on the mark complete, it will be transferred into my done file, which I can activate through this drop-down. It'll be completed, and then it will show up on this list. As you can see, it's right here at the top. It's in the completed file, 360 evaluation. And if I switch back to my active, then I'm just looking at the ones that I have going. Like here's active listening, intro to mentoring. These are simply either evaluation resources or tutorials that I have opened at some point. Because anything you look at turns up as curriculum on your transcript.
What's confusing me is mark complete would imply that it's some kind of exercise I'm supposed to do. And marking it complete feels like, oh.
Right, no. I wouldn't worry about that. If you're talking about the red button here that says mark complete, that I'm circling with my mouse, that is simply what it should be is, you're done with or you've looked at it. The curriculum items are the ones with the stacked books. Those are paths or curriculum packages. The rest of this, the icon that has a folder with like a CD and a book sticking out of it, that is an evaluation resource or a project description. It is merely an informational piece of document that is informational that you can look at to get more information. By marking complete, you are not marking anything complete as far as your level or progression through your level. This is just something that you looked at. Okay, I'm done looking at it. I can put it away. If I do an evaluation for somebody, let's say the networking evaluation, it will show up on here and then I can mark it complete and it will go away because it's not part of my active path. The items that are part of your active path will be in your folder with the stacked books. And when you click on your active path, whoops, I clicked on the wrong button again. I hate it when I do that. Open curriculum. These right here with the little check boxes, this is your path that you're working through. So right here is where you want to have little check boxes about marking complete. This implies that you are moving through your projects inside of Pathways as opposed to just looking at information that is available for you. Did that clear it up at all for you, Chris?
Well, sort of. I mean, if you go back to that, can you click back to that page?
Yeah.
First page?
Yep.
It seems like due date.
Right.
Status in progress implies that you're working your way through that like you do a manual.
Right.
I mean,
that
when
is...
when I open mine using the navigation and sort of go, okay, where am I now? Up come these boxes that, what?
Right. Right. Those are going to show
up. Do you have another...
Go for it.
Yeah, leave it. That's fine.
Okay. The due date, this has been a question that was raised to the Pathways guides about why is there a due date and why does it always say no due date? The reason here is that the software platform they're using, which is a curriculum-based software platform that is used by, lots of different companies that use curriculum, have an active due date feature, especially if it's a college program, that it needs to be done by a certain date. Well, that's part of the software platform, but they're not using it, so it shows up. The status in progress merely means that you have opened or looked at or downloaded that particular item. The icons with the stacked books are the ones that are your active level or your active curriculum. All of the other icons are information that you have looked at or tutorials or other evaluation resources. By marking them complete, you do not advance through your levels. You do not complete stuff that is part of your active level or active path. It is merely saying that you have completed using that resource for its intended purpose.
Okay, the books or the tours I actually have to do. That's very useful information. I have one other question. Is there a specific area to go to for somebody who's blind?
Not that I know of. And I remember you asked this one, I think it was a couple weeks when you were on. I have not seen anything specifically set up for somebody visually impaired or somebody who is blind. I have not seen anything set up for anybody who is auditorially impaired either. I believe what they're doing right now is launching the platform for the widest possible audience and then trimming it down, and hopefully they're going to be expanding it to include all of those aspects. My suggestion to you would be to send an email directly to Toastmasters by going to their front main page and finding the most likely or appropriate address for that, and we can do that right now. I'll go back to go to the contact us and wait, there it is. Because there's a whole list of email addresses here. I would imagine under, if there's something for education, tracking officers, membership magazine, finance, accounting, events, bylaws, board. I don't know. But you can scroll through this, find a likely email address, or even better yet, I would just call them. Call them, just pick up the phone, dial. They're really good about answering the, answering the system and not having to wait too terribly long. And simply just pose the question.
I'll do that.
What have you set up for visually impaired? That would be great. Right. And if and when you get a response, please let me know so that I can share it with other people. That would be great.
I will. Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Okay. Back into Basecamp. All right. Any other questions from the width and breadth of the experience in the audience? I could do a little dance.
Oh, anything to stop that, so I'll ask another question.
Perfect, it worked.
My cat told me to do it. Where are we with the rollout? Because I'm an old fart in this, and I want to finish my DTM the old way.
Right.
And I'm just wondering how long. I know it's 2 years after the full rollout's finished, but where are we with the rollout?
It looks like they're trying to have everything rolled out by the end of this year. Is that what you're sensing, Scott?
You mean December or next June?
The end of June seems to be kind of what they're shooting for. So if that's the case, yes.
Then June 30th, 2020.
June of
2020, wouldn't it be?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So June of 2020 is your cutoff date.
If not before.
The Toastmasters
2.5 years.
Yes. So get right on that DTM, darling Chris, and just have fun with it.
If you could get it finished before 2020 arrived, you'd be absolutely safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I think my big problem is going to be the whole district officer bit, because you got to do that for a year, and my current health situation just does not allow me to do that. So, I just can't put myself at that kind of risk.
Right.
Well, you're going through as a guide right now, and you have 8 clubs assigned?
I'm not a guide.
You're not a guide.
No, I considered it, but then decided that for the sake of my health, I couldn't do it.
Understood. Okay.
So
That's one way to avoid the officer thing.
well, I'm currently the president, and I'm a sponsor mentor for another club. But the whole driving around, visiting people all over the place, and running back and forwards to Portland is just not. I have to do what I can when I can. I can't just,
Well, there's other things to consider, such as signing up next year to be something like the district treasurer or the secretary, or things like that. They're not called that anymore, but they're still considered a district officer for a year.
Yep.
And really, the only time that they come into play are at the conferences.
Yep.
Well, that's a possible.
Yeah. I was district secretary for a year, and there were essentially 4 times where the 2 conferences, and then there were conference calls 3 months opposite those, the district executive committee. So that that could be a possibility. So what you would want to do is, as soon as you find out who's possibly going to be next year's candidates, which some of them are currently candidates this year, is simply just drop a line and say, hey, I'd love to be the administrative manager, I think is what it is.
Yeah, I have no idea anymore.
I mean,
That's the current term.
Yep.
Anytime I go somewhere, I visit with other. Oh, hi, Donna. I visit with other folks. It's just I can't commit to it. I mean, I've got a out of control thyroid problem, which is causing a heart problem. So that's just it's just difficult.
Well, Donna
again,
can walk
folks,
you through it.
I apologize for my radio in the background. I'm part of an emergency services thing, and we sign in and do tests on a regular basis. So I do apologize for that. It just happens to be 7 o'clock on a Tuesday.
Okay. Well, that's good. It adds a certain level of veritas to the program. This way, people will know.
I'll try and keep muted if I'm not asking anything. So.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Well, all right. Is there anyone else with another question? Donna, Pat, Donald?
I found a reference to this 360-degree evaluation.
Oh, yeah?
Now, I was looking through, I combined all the evaluations into one document. So I was able to search for them. The Motivate Others project.
Oh, okay.
It starts with the purpose. It tells the evaluator the purpose of the project. And then there are some notes for the evaluator. And it says, during the completion of the project, the member spent some time developing a project, building a team, etc., and may have asked team members and at least one officer to evaluate leadership through the completion of a 360-degree evaluation.
Yeah.
And it doesn't say,
right
like
there.
Chris was wondering, it doesn't really say what that is, but it's used in some of the projects.
Okay. Yep.
It appeared to be an evaluation of somebody in, like, say, a board position or something like that. I wondered if it was coming up because I was club president.
No.
I doubt it, because the pathways, levels, and projects in here aren't linked to your club affiliation as far as officer. Right.
I would say that this is akin to a high performance leadership project, even though it's not called that, Motivate Others.
Yeah.
You're going to be leading the team to do something, and the team is going to give you feedback, and they'll do that through the 360.
Right. Yeah, I suspect that this is probably a level 4, level 5 in one of the projects.
It has to do, though, with evaluating the project. It's not used for evaluating a speech.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's there to evaluate the leader of the project.
Right.
Not the project.
That's why I was so confused why it kept showing up on the very first page before I'd done anything.
Yeah. Is it on everybody's then? Well, James, it sounded like you thought it was always there for everybody.
I think it shows up, but if you just mark it as completed, it goes away.
Mm.
Yeah.
James pointed out, you can always find it through your completed projects.
Right. So I'm just looking through, seeing where it might show up on one of the paths for the motivate others.
I don't think it is.
I think part of the 360-degree evaluation, at least in the world of human resources, is part of it is a self-evaluation as well as a peer evaluation. So that might be why it showed up at some point, because part of it is, where are you? Where do you think you are? And evaluate yourself in relationship to this project.
Mm-hmm. There it is. It is on the Motivational Strategies path, level 4, Building Skills, Motivate Others project. So it is a level 4 required project for motivational strategies.
Oh, okay. Well,
So,
it's also on some others. It's
yeah.
It's part of lead in any situation.
Yep, leading in difficult situations, persuasive influence. So it is used in multiple locations, but it appears to be a level 4 project resource. So you have a random pop-up from who knows where. They're trying to, I know, it is Pathways telling you, Chris, that you can motivate others and give people a 360-degree evaluation and just, dive right in there. It is your computer telling you how to get involved. Probably. Or maybe not. Or maybe it was just something you clicked on somewhere.
Yeah. I'm going to shrink this window and see if I can't trip over it again like I keep doing.
Okay.
And then I can come back and tell you how I did it.
Absolutely. It'd be wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
It might have something to do with the path you chose.
Could be. I keep hitting that button. Don't want that button.
I keep getting told I chose the wrong path in life. Oh, you mean Pathways. Okay.
Right. All right. One of the other questions that we had during the session was that the people weren't able to get the little check mark to show up next to their level projects. They for some reason they went through, they gave their icebreaker speech, and it wouldn't show that it was checked off or any of these others. That little check mark right there is dictated by where you are in the curriculum itself. So I am launching the curriculum for understanding your communication style. It is opening right now. We'll enlarge the window so you can see it when it opens up. And the person that I was talking to was familiar with the pre-assessment. That's the one back here where you go through and you choose your just lost my words there. You do an evaluation of yourself before you do the project. She was unfamiliar with the post-assessment, so that told me that she hadn't clicked through her project all the way to the end. So that check mark shows up when you click through your project, go through the assess your skills after, and you get to the page that says congratulations. If you have not seen this page that says congratulations, then that check mark will not show up. Once you get here, by closing the curriculum, the check mark shows up here next to your project. Now, it is also possible to click all the way through your curriculum to the very end without even giving your speech, and the check mark will show up. Don't worry about that. Don't freak out. It merely says that you have gone through every single page and you've looked at all of it, and you've tabbed through or done all of those things, and the check mark shows up. You can still go into your club and give your presentation, then come back, do your post-assessment if you so desire, and consider yourself moving on. Now, somebody raised the question that said, well, couldn't you just check everything is complete without having done anything? And yes, you can. You could probably complete, with a willing VPE on your side, you could complete an entire level in one day, I imagine. Because all it is clicking through the screens, getting to the congratulation, and then as you get to level completion, if your VPE doesn't verify that you've done anything and simply just rubber stamps anything that shows up in front of them, it is possible to do Pathways without doing anything at all. If that is your choice, then that is your choice. Hopefully, you will use Pathways as an avenue to aid you within your club. I suppose that there are also people that cheat at like solitaire, but I don't understand why, because you're simply playing against yourself. That is what Pathways is. You are helping yourself move forward, and the little checkbox that show up simply shows that you have gone to the last page of the pop-up curriculum, and it has said congratulations. So then complete your speech, and you can move on to the next one. So that's why and how to get the little checkbox to show up.
So
Yes.
I've noticed, I've run across this a couple of times with people in my clubs that struggle. They get the check marks and they go to complete a level and they don't have that option, even though everything is checked. In certain cases, you'll get the check mark, but the system doesn't know that you haven't completed everything. And the most common errors are, you start looking at the videos and you say, well, okay, I'm fine with this, and then drop out of the video and go on ahead in the curriculum, that sort of thing, or not complete the question things. They ask you questions and you put in your answers, things like that. And then, of course, the most common one is filling out your self-evaluation at the end.
Right.
But if you have not gone through this thing diligently, step by step, there are certain times where you get to the end, you think you're done, you see the check mark, and it still won't allow you to complete. So in those cases, when you finish something, you still have the check mark, but you don't have the chance in the little bar over to the right-hand side where this one says evaluate on James's screen, but it says evaluate after you were marked it complete. But if you don't see the mark complete, I strongly suggest you go back through the project and just step by step. You don't have to give the speeches again, but you just have to go through the online instruction and get to the end and then see if it will allow you to mark as complete.
Right. Absolutely. That is one way to check that. And then there's also a few instances where even though someone has gone all the way through the curriculum, the check still doesn't show up. The answer that I found so far to those is to log all the way out of Pathways, close the window down, oftentimes close the browser down, reopen everything, log back in again, and it resets. And then oftentimes the check will then show up at that point. I do know from conversations on Saturday that Google Chrome and Microsoft Edge have been a real challenge for several people in dealing with Pathways. Oftentimes the questions and the technical issues that have popped up are usually associated with those two browsers. I don't have experience with either of those browsers. I primarily am using Firefox, but I've had independent verification from several different people that Google Chrome and the new Microsoft Edge with Windows 10 do tend to not play very nice with Pathways at times. So if there are issues going on that, check the browser, log out and log back in. I've had to do that a number of times, especially when I switch from one club to another. It doesn't like to update things for me, so I have to shut it down and come back into it again. And or go back in, like Scott said, make sure you've gone all the way through your curriculum to the very last page and answered all the questions. And if you're still having issues, I send emails directly to Toastmasters about some of the stuff that I run into, and hopefully at that point they'll be able to provide some information for you, or you can let them know about a bug that you're experiencing, which is also very helpful because then they can iron those out for those later. Thank you, Scott. Absolutely. All right, we are sitting at 7:54. It just changed. 7:54. And we have time for one more question if you'd like, or I could do a happy dance. That would spur a question from Chris. I know if I started dancing, she would come up with a random
Somebody ask a question quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I remind you once again about the Pathways Triple Crown and this very large pin that I will send you. Look, it is bigger than my head. It is that big. It is a gigantic pin that will barely fit in the mailbox. But I won't send you the big one. I will send you the small one that you can wear. And then the big one you can like hang, well, it just got even bigger. You can put on your wall or something. But absolutely, we'll send those out. And please let other people know about the Tuesday sessions. If anybody's interested in coming in, I'm more than welcome to have other people on here.
Do you have any updates from TI on the badge?
We have heard that they are assessing the situation. Interestingly enough, the verbiage as to the progress of the badge is about the same as the verbiage I receive when I send them an email about a problem within Pathways. They have forwarded it on to the appropriate individual. They thank me very much for my feedback and encourage me to have a really good experience with Pathways. So we are hopeful that we will get something by the end of the year. We are also investigating, Kate has someone that does design work, so there may be a possibility of actually just creating a physical badge that we can give to people. So we're hoping by the end of the year we will have something to supplement the very large pin that we are sending everybody. Yes. Thank you, Scott. Absolutely. With that, any other questions?
Okay, so now I've managed to get there.
Okay.
When you go onto Pathways and you're sort of logging into Basecamp, the minute the page comes up with the 5 blue boxes, navigating Basecamp, my education, my feedback, etc. Welcome to Basecamp. And then it has a couple of boxes with a burgundy bar at the top.
Yeah.
One says my educational transcript.
Yep.
Right there, 360 evaluation resource. Mark complete or launch.
Right.
So, and then innovative planning, which is the path I picked, I guess. Open curriculum, the navigator launch, or work in my projects overview launch.
Yes. So this little box at the bottom of the window that says my educational transcript is merely the exact same thing as the blue button that says my educational transcript. So what you are seeing are the active projects or anything that you have started, because on mine you can see active listening, intro to Toastmasters mentoring, make connections through networking, motivate others, Pathways guide test. These are all items that I have opened to look at, whether it was through tutorials and resources or speech evaluations. Because if I click on my blue button that says education transcript, you will see the list is exactly the same coming down from the top. Active listening, intro to Toastmasters, make connections through networking. That is merely a shortcut window into your educational transcript. And that is just showing items that you have clicked on at some point to look at. So you, at some point, somewhere in some window, clicked on a 360 and it landed it in your educational transcript. You can, with absolutely no guilt whatsoever, click the box that says mark complete and make it go away. Absolutely. Totally guilt-free clicking.
Now I understand why sometimes I get a pop-up box that says, do I want to continue where I left off?
Yes.
Or something of that ilk.
Yep. Great. And that is a fantastic question to end the evening on.
Oh, I have a question, though.
Oh, okay. All right, we can do that.
I have a whole bunch of old pins, like CC and CL and ACB and all that. Do those apply anymore to someone who's in Pathways?
Pins. You mean like lapel pins?
Yeah. Yeah, like the Comp Communicator pin and all that stuff.
Well, you can still wear them with pride.
They're just going to show our ages and how long we've been at this for.
No, I mean, I have a bunch of them left from the club that died.
Oh, well, I mean, for the next 2 years, anyone that's still doing the legacy program, absolutely.
Well, nobody gets the CTM anymore.
Well, not the CTM, no, but the CC.
CC and CL and.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I've never actually seen a CC pin, so yeah.
Stick them on eBay, see if anyone wants to buy them. Funds for the club.
Yeah, could be. Or find a club that is still doing the Legacy program and give them a present.
Donate them to your current club, our club.
Any club. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm proud of my CTM.
Cool. All right. Well, it is 8 o'clock. It is officially the witching hour, and yes, my cat has started campaigning for more food. I had to feed her before the webinar, and I have to feed her after the webinar. So, very large stacker. So, thank you all very much for being here. I will continue doing these at least through the end of the year, and possibly beyond that, because we still have a lot of people that haven't come along the pathway yet. Woo. So everyone is welcome. Again, thank you all for being here, and I am going to end the session at this time.
Thank you, James.
Thank you,
Thanks, James.